just tell me what you want, is every husband's plea at some point in marriage. As simple-minded creatures, it's often difficult for us men to understand the signals our wives are sending. One book describes it as speaking two languages, Martian and Venutian. Wouldn't it be easier if our wives would translate their words into our native caveman language? Actually, the translation is available, but we seldom listen. But that is a different study. Today, we want to examine how Moses asked God that same question for us, but just in a little different format. Instead of, just tell me what you want, Moses asked, what does the Lord your God require from you? Deuteronomy 10, verse 12. Thankfully, God provided the answer, which Moses immediately shared with Israel. Now, Israel, what does the Lord your God require from you? But to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways and love him, and to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the Lord's commandments and his statutes, which I am commanding you today for your good. Deuteronomy 10, verses 12 and 13. First, we must fear God. But do any of us really fear him? Do you realize the simplicity of that statement? Fear means to be afraid, to be overwhelmed by the power and majesty of the Creator. After giving the Ten Commandments, God spoke from the heart and expressed his desire that Israel would have a heart to fear him. Deuteronomy 5, verse 29. Easy to understand, but difficult to apply because we don't listen to God any better than we listen to our wives. And while we're no longer under the Old Testament law, this principle applies to anyone who wants to believe in Christ. For our God is a consuming fire. Hebrews 12:29. Fear, properly applied, leads to walking in his ways, loving him, serving him with our whole heart and soul, and keeping his commandments. And ladies and gentlemen, please listen to me very carefully. This is where we often prove we have no fear because we refuse to obey him. Many call themselves followers of Christ and claim to love him with all their heart, but reject the whole idea of the need to obey. We need to learn that obedience leads to love and love leads to obedience. Deuteronomy 10, verses 12 and 13, John 14, verse 15, John 15, verse 10, and 1 John 2, verse 5 make it very clear. Well, our wives have told us what they want. God has told us what he wants. How many of us actually listen? Well, do come back tomorrow and listen to another Morning Minutes in the Bible. Until then, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.